Hi there, I'm John Turner from Icom UK. I'm down here in Portsmouth at Nevada showing off the new IC-7100 multi-mode transceiver. I'm basically, like most of us, a user, and I play and use it. For those who have already got Icom radio, then they will find it reasonably easy to use and understand how to work it. If you've never had an Icom before, then I think it's reasonably simple because of the touchscreen. Got the whole of HF, including 5 megs in the UK, will be standard. It's got 50 megs, 40 as standard in the UK, 2 and 70 D-Star built in. It's got a full touchscreen menu, so you just touch what you want to change and the menu will come up, or you'll move one of the dials and it will change. It's also got a built-in SD card reader that will back up any settings you've got in here, as well as record either the QSO you're having, both sides, or for a long length of time. I've been led to believe that with a 2 gig card, I think you can get about 36 hours continuous. At the moment, I think the standard microphone is going to be the 151, which is the same as the 7000. So, and from that microphone you can change frequency, tune the radio, and there's a couple of other things you can do. You can change from 2 VFOs. So you've got one main box and a remote head. The remote head is connected by something similar to a Cat5 cable. Microphone will either go into the back of the head or it can also go into the back of the radio, but not both. It will also come with a standard USB cable for the programming software, which will be available shortly. It's not available as yet. So that comes as standard, and it also should work with something like Ham Radio Deluxe or whatever other software there is available. There'll obviously be a little tweaking to get it to work, but there's a good chance. So that's all come as standard. You get a simple user manual to start with, right? And to be honest, most of that is D-Star. The rest of it sits on a CD drive, CD disc. I'm assuming most people have got Icom, have they? Or anyone never had?
Not an HF one.
Not an HF one. To change frequency, you just press the frequency and you're given the list of all what is available. So you just choose which frequency you want and it sits there. So you can change the tuning steps just by pressing the portion of the frequency that you want to change. The filtering is very similar to the filtering, the DSP filtering that Icom use, in that you just tap the filter and it'll scroll through them. They're all user adjustable. So when it comes to using it, to setting a filter, you will hold on to it so it comes the display at the bottom, and then you've got BW for bandwidth, and then you'll adjust it by the tuning dial. So it's all user selectable. There are 3 settings and you can have them as a wide, say 3, a narrow being 2.5, and bring it even narrow down to 1.8, or even lower as you want, and they will be the same on with the bands. It also has, like the 706 and the 7000, a very small band scope that will stop the audio, scan, and then come back again. So it is very similar. It's not a live scope like the Pro 3 or the 7600, but it does give you an idea when you're first on the band what it's about, and you can also tune into it. Built-in speech processor, turn on, you can, and it's adjustable that you can turn it on or turn it off. I'm not sure if there's adjustable audio. Quite often there's an adjustable audio level within a set mode. So it'll do all the standard modes, and it will also do RTTY decode. So if you've got a British signal coming in, you can actually physically decode it. As I said, if you're going to connect it up via a computer, the lead comes as standard, and you download the drivers for the radio off the Japanese website, and it's relatively simple to do. Oh, on the radio, you've got 2 antenna sockets. You've got HF 50 and 4, or right is one, VHF and UHF is the next one. So the 4 metre one shares the HF port. I've got a choice between a 7000 or a 7100. What do I go for? Right, if you want D-Star built in, if you want 4 metres, then you're going to have to go for that. But if it's just for basic mobile use, then the 7000 is perfect for it. So you can't sort of say you've got to get that because if you don't want D-Star, if you don't want 4 metres, then you're going to go for a 7000.
I mean, it's interesting to see that I would assume that Icom are the first to do this. You've got this console which is at an angle, which
yes,
actually to me seems obvious because most people have got a console in the car now. Is that why they've done that?
to be honest, I don't know why they have done it. It is something that's new, completely different. When they first showed it to us, or the pictures, it looked terrible. You think, what on earth have they done? But you see it physically like that, and it does look a lot better. And the more you use it, add a slant, especially on a desktop like that, you realise actually it was a good idea. It's 100 watts on up to 50 megs, 50 watts on 4 metres, 50 on 2, 35 on 70. Yeah, you got an extension speaker in there as well. Yes, as well as the USB, the remote control, which is the CIV, the Icom CIV connections. You've got a data one, which allows you to put GPS data in and also take the data out, like you can with a lot of the D-Star stuff. The accessory socket is the 13 pin, which is the same as the 706 and the 7000. So if you did want to split it, then the 599, I think it is, the splitter that will take it to the 7 and the 8, which the big radios have got. I know there's no D-Star repeater down here, but it is designed that it already comes with the repeaters in an area. In fact, it's got the whole world built into it as repeaters. So you'll choose between, say, the UK. You can also input your own positioning. If you're at home all the time, as an example, you're not going to have a GPS telling you where you are because you know where you are. So you can input the coordinates and you can work it from there. It will find the nearest repeater and set the radio up to be able to operate it, should you be that interested in D-Star. I know there's no D-Star.
What draws people to D-Star? I guess it's the ability, to me it seems that its big draw is the ability to almost find any station. If someone's on the air up in Yorkshire that's a mate of yours, it's noisy on 40, you can find him.
That is one of the advantages, but I think the main drawback is the audio quality.
Yeah.
For 95% of the time is good. It's a bit like the digital television that you've got. When the signal tails off and it pixelates, that's when the audio breaks up.
Yeah.
But up to that point, you'll always have good audio. It will be spot on. It won't be fading off. It will disappear. But because it's a narrower bandwidth, it just tends to go it covers that little bit further.
So it propagates better than
Just
analog.
marginally better. But yes, you have the ability to call up anyone, anywhere, because the trust server in America, the K5 TIT trust server, knows the last place that the person was last called or his call sign, because the call sign's programmed into the radio. Therefore, it will be listed somewhere.
So I hope I'm not asking a stupid question here. So even if you had a friend of mine, very good friend of mine, went to VK, to Australia,
Yes.
even if he was there, as long as he's got a repeater, that's...
As long as he's got a repeater and as long as he's been on the repeater, because it won't know he's there if he hasn't transmitted onto it.
I see.
But
So
you
it's a
could-
beacon to it.
You could call up the repeater that's local to him.
Yes.
So if he's in Sydney, for instance, he could use one of the three repeaters in Sydney.
So it's more powerful than Echolink and things like that, really, isn't it?
I think so. It has a greater coverage, whereas Echolink you can use standard analog radios as long as you've got DTMF to operate it. Whereas this is it's its own system.
Yeah. Brilliant. And this is SSB on 4 as well.
Yes, all mode on 4.
Yeah.
Yes.
I guess that's going to be the rare thing for people, isn't it?
Yes, yes.
So what filters have we got in this in comparison? Because Icom are normally better than the others, and one of my defences often, if an Icom radio is more expensive, is, well, actually it's got the filters in, which...
Well, it's got a roofing filter standard. I think it's a 6K roofing filter, but the other filters are all DSP.
Right, okay, because I suppose that technology is improved to the extent.
Yeah,
now
and every new radio comes out, there's a new and slightly better DSP chip that is controlling it.
So in essence, if you buy that, you're not going to be looking at buying more filters down the line, which used to be the old problem.
Yes, yeah, DSP's taken that over.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Paul from Nevada. I work here in the showroom. My thanks to John Turner for doing a presentation here today on the brand new Icom IC-7100. Okay, my first take on the radio. As a 706 owner myself, to me it feels like the 706 and the 7000 and all the things that I would like to have seen on those are on here. The first thing that hits me is this new type of console that we've got, which is a detachable head. It feels like quality. There's weight in the VFO knob, there's weight in the unit. The display straight away strikes me as being bigger than on the 7000, the 706, and many other of the mobile radios out there. It's big enough. The S-meter's got enough graticules on there. You can see what you're doing with the radio. So that's the first thing that strikes me. So you've got buttons on the pad here, but you've also got a touch screen, which is so easy to use. It's just like a sat nav or anything else. So a quick press of a button and it does whatever you want. So I'm just randomly pressing buttons here now. Very nice. Audio quality on the radio, excellent. We've tried it on our antennas here in Portsmouth and the noise floor on the receiver seems very good. I'm comparing it to some other radios here in the showroom, and again, it's holding its own on the high bands. It seems quite sensitive. We're putting it on a big antenna on the low bands here, although it is daytime on 40 and on 5 megs. It's coping with the noise. There's plenty of DSP toys on here. In terms of filtering and the DSP technology, it's moved on a notch from a lot of the other radios out there on the market at the moment. So what do you get? What have you got in here? You've got HF, you've got 100 watts, you've got 100 watts on 6, you've got 50 watts on 4, which I think is going to be the clincher for this. For people out there that run 4 meters, that want to get on 4 meters with a little bit of power on SSB, that is the difficulty, and that's what this radio I think will cure.
Yes, okay.
So basically you're getting an HF rig. The add-ons are digital D-Star and 4 meters with SSB on. That's the big selling point of the radio. In my shack, I suffer from the old sunlight on the display problem. I'm sure you've heard of this before, John. What I like about this, A, it's got a very big display. B, it's a very bright display. But C, it doesn't reflect light. We put all the lights off in here. The display is perfect. You can see it. We shine a bright light on it or sunlight on it, you can still see it because it's LCD. So I really like that. They've gone for an LCD screen, which is fantastic. We've got tune on the mic here. If we've got a tuner online, is that right?
On the
How do we do that?
Going to be supplied with it.
Right, okay, so not on this particular one. So that's quite nice. You don't have to press any buttons on the radio. You can literally tune from here. There's no built-in ATU. However, there's the standard Icom Molex on the back, so you could use that with AH4s, and there are plenty of third parties as well on the market, so no problem running this mobile with an ATU or in the house. I suppose the other thing that's probably worth pointing out is this will run with the SM30, SM50, the desk mics. So I think a lot of people are going to run the radio mobile, but you could quite easily have this in the, as a base station on. I can quite see somebody having a laptop here, someone that's got a cupboard as a shack.
Yeah, that gets you.
They've got their laptop here, they've got radio here, they could even have a desk mic with it, SM50, something like that. So I think in summary, what you get here, for the price, for the money, what you've got is HF, VHF and UHF with the added facility of D-Star, an excellent screen and 4 meters multi-mode. and some excellent DSP filtering as well for HF. Availability, Nevada are going to be stocking these. They're going to be one of the first in the country to be stocking it in August. So please give us a call, 02392 313 090, and we can talk about doing a deal with you, part exchange, buying directly. We also do finance and terms, so please give us a call and talk to us. They're going to be in limited supply, so it's going to be first come, first served. And there you go.